What's up, everyone? I'm Sergeant First Class Justin Morelli coming at you live with another episode of Trivia Tuesday. This is episode 12, brought to you by U.S. Army New England, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have made it this far. So far, we have 8 players logged into Kahoot, and we have about double that watching on the live stream on YouTube. So if you're out there following along and you want to play with us, please feel free to join us. The Kahoot code is 902-0281. So I say that again, it is 902-0281. So, yeah, welcome back to episode 12 to all of you return viewers. And if any of you are just tuning in for the first time today, welcome. We're going to have a ton of fun, as we always do. Trivia Tuesday, it started due to the pandemic, and 12 weeks later, we're still doing this because it's fun for all of us, and we know that there's value to it with the fact that we are, for one, testing your knowledge out there, and two, teaching if you're not already aware of some of these things that we cover. So, as all of you know, being that we are from New England, we're pretty proud of being New Englanders, and so we have certain little things that we say, and I got my little certificate here, and this just certifies that if you win, if you place on the podium today in the top 3, that you are in fact certified as wicked smart. So come on out and test your luck. We got 9 players so far, so I'm going to give it just another minute or two before we kick off. But yeah, a little background on me. So I am a combat documentation and production specialist, better known as a combat camera operator, and I've gotten paid to travel around the world, jump out of airplanes, rappel out of helicopters, and take pictures and make movies, and I love what I do. So this gives me the opportunity to dive into another passion of mine, and that is history, in particular American history. So being from New England and growing up around so much that led to the birth of our great nation, I just was inspired from a very young age to get involved with this, and Trivia Tuesday has given me the opportunity to really explore more of that and find out things that even I didn't know about the area that I'm from. So if you are from New England, some of this stuff you might know. If you're not, that's okay, because you're going to learn. And yeah, we can't thank you enough for coming out to play with us today. We're up to 11 or 12 players now, so just jumped up one more. So yeah, with that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and get it started. Just a couple quick rules that we'll go over first. Obviously, no cheating. You have 30 seconds per question. The questions are multiple choice, so the faster that you answer that question, the more points you get. And if you don't know, take a stab at it. It is multiple choice. You might get lucky. Be advised that some of the photos might be applicable to the question, but they might not. So there's just different things that you have to consider. I'm not trying to trick anyone up here, but if you see a photo that's clearly recognizable to you, then it might be that answer. If it's not, then don't necessarily dive into the photo looking for hints. As I go through the questions, I typically give a little hint here and there as the time is winding down. So, all right, I think it's about time. So let's go ahead and kick it off to the first question. And of course, we're going to open up with this first slide here just to state that we are in fact going into the category of U.S. history. And just so you're aware, there will be 3 questions worth double points. So it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle up, it's about to be a wild ride, and here's the first question. So once George Washington's most trusted aide, he later went on to become the first Secretary of the Treasury. Was it A, the Marquis de Lafayette, B, John Lawrence, C, Alexander Hamilton, or D, Aaron Burr? And you got 20 seconds remaining. We got 7 answers in so far. So get those answers in. That is in fact George Washington, or depiction, a painting of George Washington at Valley Forge, which was a particularly hard winter for the Continental Army at that time. We have 5 seconds remaining, so get those answers in, and you got 3, 2, and 1. Your time is up, ladies and gentlemen, but 8 of you got it correct with the correct answer of Alexander Hamilton. So, my name is Alexander Hamilton, and there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait, just you wait. So, Alexander Hamilton gained notoriety and fame recently with the most, with the Broadway musical that was put on about his interesting life. And so incredibly interesting and fascinating guy. He's done so much for our country, laying the current groundwork and financial systems that we still use. So pretty cool. He was Washington's most trusted aide. He was a great soldier on the battlefield. And many of you probably know, aside from being on the $10 bill, he was in fact killed in a duel with Aaron Burr. So yeah, fascinating guy. Check out the musical if you ever get a chance. It's definitely pretty catchy. Don't mind my singing. I just, I broke out into song there because I was feeling it and I was inspired. I listened to Hamilton while I'm writing my trivia questions because I think it gets me in the mood. So anyways, yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, and here we are at the leaderboard first. So we got She What It Is in first place, Quiz on My Face in second, Apple Pies in third. Welcome back, Apple Pie. He's the return winner from last week. So pretty impressive showing last week. We got Cats in fourth, and Deck is still not, I'm guessing, done, because some of you that know me know that I am currently in the middle of a home renovation project that has taken significantly longer than I originally anticipated. So, all right, moving on. It is time to go forward with that next question. So let's see how we do. All right, it's a ×2, ladies and gentlemen. So this author donated profits from sales of his book, Common Sense, to the Continental Army to buy needed supplies. Was it A, Thomas Paine, B, Benjamin Franklin, C, Noah Webster, or D, James Otis? So some of you that might know, Common Sense was a very popular book during, leading up to the Revolution, and it inspired, quite a few to think about things a bit differently. And so it was definitely an interesting. All right, we got 13 with the correct answer, and yes, it is in fact Thomas Paine. So yeah, interesting guy. And later, after with later publications of that book, he actually donated all the proceeds to the Continental Army. As I showed you in that first picture with Valley Forge, the Continental Army was struggling a bit. Many of them didn't have boots or proper rations or anything else, and Thomas Paine was actually donating money so they could get mittens and different things to stay warm. So just, pretty fascinating. And I think, what I find to be most inspiring about it is that when our nation hits hard times, we all come together, and we can, when we come together, we can make things happen. So, that was how our nation was born, and it's happened throughout our history. And I see, our current and present difficulties as being no different. So let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. All right, we got She What It Is still in first place. Apple Pie moving up to second. Cats is moving up to third. Clicky Snap is in fourth, and Jor is in fifth. So is it Jor or Jar? I can't even tell, but whoever you are, welcome. And Clicky Snap, I like that too. So, all right. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, so this is not a multi-select. There's only one correct answer, but during the Revolution, some colonial women purposely infected themselves with a lesser strain of smallpox at what event? Was it A, pox picnics, B, pox parties, C, army encampments, or D, hospitals? So there's only one correct answer, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize about that. I must have had a little bit of a slip up on my selecting my correct answers. But we got 5 seconds remaining with 9 answers in. So I'm going to give you that countdown with 3, 2, and 1. And your time is up, ladies and gentlemen. But we got 6 with the correct answer. So it is in fact pox parties. So during the Revolution, actually, the largest outbreak of smallpox was taking place across, the 13 colonies. And you know, people were getting sick left and right. In fact, there were more casualties during the American Revolution from disease than there were from, you know, actual combat. But many of the women, you know, have, you know, they got together and they would purposely try to contract smallpox so that they could, you know, fight it off and gain immunity to it. So I thought that it was interesting, you know, just being with the current times, you know, that during our nation's birth, essentially, they were battling a similar pandemic. However, I do not advise pox parties. You know, their vaccines work just fine, and you don't need to try to move forward with that. So, all right. So let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. We got She What It Is dropping off from first place down to third, but Clicky Snap bumps up into first, and Is the Deck Ready is in second. Apple Pie is down in fourth, and Cats is in fifth. But up 3 places right now is the new Hamilton, and he is the highest climber. So I like it. I like it. Yeah. Anyone that knows Hamilton is cool in my book. So, all right. Yeah, it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to question number 3. All right, it's a ×2. This popular game, rock, paper, scissors, used to settle a dispute, is also named for this Revolutionary War general. Was it A, Pierre de Rochambeau, B, John Rambo, C, Stephen Scissors, or D, Comte de Rochambeau? So we got 6 answers in so far and 15 seconds remaining. Rock, paper, scissors, who doesn't love it? But you know, all across the country, it goes by a few different names. So you know, if you're familiar, then you might know. But all right, awesome, great job, ladies and gentlemen. 10 with the correct answer. So it was Comte de Rochambeau, who was the leading French general that aided us with our fight for independence. So he worked alongside of Washington at the Battle of Yorktown. You know, Washington did not expect the British to surrender at that point, and even after they surrendered, he still wasn't certain that, you know, that they were going to give up. So he staged himself close to New York, in New York City and Newburgh, you know, preparing for a second engagement if the event came. But Rochambeau, we couldn't have done it without him. We've always, you know, had a lot of thanks, you know, to give to the French for helping us gain our independence. And Rochambeau, interestingly enough, just became the name. There's no real origin of how it came about, but kids play rock, paper, scissors or Rochambeau to, you know, settle a dispute. And this was just an opportunity for me to talk about the French general that helped us win that war. So, all right, it's time to check out the leaders board, ladies and gentlemen. So, all right, Is the Deck Ready jumps up to first place. Apple Pie's back in second. The new Hamilton's in third. Cats is in fourth, and Deck is still not, I'm guessing, done, is in fifth. So, all right, Hoya Kane is the highest climber right now. So welcome back, Hoya Kane. Yeah, we got a number of return players that have, you know, all finished up throughout the weeks in the top 3 at some point. So it's good to see you all coming back to play again. And yeah, thanks so much for joining. Let's go ahead and kick it off with the next question. All right, it's a ×2. The Statue of Liberty sits on what is now known as Liberty Island. What was the island originally called? Was it A, Bedloe Island, B, Rockaway Island, C, Governor's Island, or D, Fire Island? So we got no answers in yet, but we got 20 seconds remaining. Oh, and the answers are coming in like wildfire right now, so awesome. Oh, yeah, they're just flying. So you guys are doing great out there. 15 answers so far with 10 seconds remaining. I'm going to give you that countdown starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Your time is up, ladies and gentlemen. And 5 with the correct answer. So it is Bedloe Island, and I know that was a tricky one. So I apologize about that, but it was a ×2. You know, might have thrown off a few people. Let's see, a lot of people went with Governor's Island, and you know, the rest were Rockaway and Fire. So yeah, definitely not Fire Island. that was a catastrophe, if anyone's seen that documentary. But Bedloe Island, yeah, that was the correct name of the island originally. Obviously, we all know that the Statue of Liberty, was a collaborative effort between the French and the American government, and it was a gift from the French. And for that, we're very thankful. And if you ever have the opportunity to head through New York and see it, it is quite a sight. So let's go ahead and move on to that leaderboard. All right, so is the deck ready? Locks it in the first and stays there for a little bit longer. She What It Is moves up to second. Apple Pie drops down to third. The New Hamilton is in fourth, and Cat stays in fifth. But this was a tough round. 3 players lost their answer streak of 3, so fear not, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get discouraged. There's plenty of time to recover because we still have 10 questions remaining. So that completes the first round. And let's go ahead and move on to the next round of questions, which is, of course, New England trivia. Just so you're all aware, there will be 3 questions worth double points in this round as well. So good luck. That's a beautiful picture of Maine there. Or actually, that might be Rhode Island, I think. Yeah, that's Rhode Island. So, all right, let's go ahead and kick it off to the next question. All right, it's not a multi-select, ladies and gentlemen. This popular and sweet New England treat was produced by the Durkee Maurer Company in 1917 in Lynn, Massachusetts. It is not a multiple choice. It is not a multi-select answer, ladies and gentlemen. So it is either A, marshmallow fluff, B, the Toll House chocolate chip cookies, C, whoopie pies, D, Necco wafers. So get those answers in. We got 10 answers in so far, and under 10 seconds remaining. So I'm going to give you the countdown of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and your time is up. So all right, 13 with the correct answer. So marshmallow fluff. So yeah, it's a New England staple. I mean, we actually love our fluffernutters, as we call them. So fluffernutters or fluffernutters are peanut butter and fluff sandwich, and there's nothing better than that. But it gained quite a bit of popularity in the early 1900s. And, there was a gentleman by the name of Query that was going around door to door. He was selling marshmallow fluff. And then, Durkee and Maurer, they came across the recipe. They bought it from Query for $500, and they began marketing it. And interestingly enough, there was a lady that created the fluffernutter sandwich, or the peanut butter and fluff sandwich. And she was actually the great-great-great-granddaughter of Paul Revere. So 3 companies still make fluff. If you're from New England, you can find it very easily at most of your grocery stores. So if you haven't had it before, I recommend you try it. It's something we all love and hold near and dear to our hearts being here in New England. So let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. All right. Is the deck ready? Stays in first. She What It Is in second. The New Hamilton's in third. Deck is still not done is in fourth, and Hoya Kane moves up to fifth. So great job to you, all of you, ladies and gentlemen. And it's about that time. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, so times 2. The popular English expression "okay" comes from a 19th century Boston newspaper's abbreviation for what? For what phrase? Was it A, order known, B, 0 killed in action, C, all correct, or D, Oklahoma? So okay is a word that, or a phrase that we use pretty regularly. Most Americans use it all the time, and it's spread all over the world. But it actually originated in Boston. I know that this could be a bit tricky because there's a few different ideas on where the phrase came from, but I'm going to tell you exactly where it came from in exactly 1 second. So, all right, we only got 3 with the correct answer. So, 3 with the correct answer. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it is in fact all correct. So, all correct was, it was a funny slight in a Boston newspaper where they were making a joke using the term all correct and abbreviating it to okay. So yeah, it kicked off in Boston and it caught on. That is the first known usage of the abbreviation. Many may have thought that well, actually a few of you guessed that it was 0 killed in action. There's actually a lot of, there's some stories and legends out there that it came from, saying, there was 0 killed during an engagement or whatever. And so it was just easy to say, okay, but actually it was around before that. So yeah, and it originated in Boston, as so many things do. So let's go ahead and check out that leaderboard. All right, Is the Deck Ready is still in first place. The New Hamilton moves up to second. She What It Is drops down to third. Deck Still Not Done is in fourth, and Hoya Kane is in fifth. But Mojo Man just hit an answer streak of 3. So great job to you, Mojo Man. I know you finished on the podium a few weeks back. So let's see if you can get up onto that leaderboard. But it's time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and check out the next question. All right, it's a ×2. So the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard once housed over 1,600 prisoners of war from this country. Was it A, England, B, Spain, C, Germany, or D, Portugal? And we got a few answers in with about 20 seconds remaining. So that there is the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard's prison, which is no longer still in use. But throughout the day, it had several historical things that took place there. But yeah, so 5 seconds remaining, 17 answers in. I'm going to give you the countdown with 3, 2, and 1, and your time is up, ladies and gentlemen. So we got 5 with the correct answer. So yes, the prisoners of war were all taken to the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard from Spain. So during the Spanish-American War, we housed, so when I say we, the U.S. Army New England Recruiting Battalion is actually stationed on the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard. And so we, get to look out of our office window and see that prison pretty regularly. So yeah, 1,600 Spanish soldiers were kept there under the Geneva Conventions, and of course treated, within accordance of the Geneva Conventions and as humanely as possible. In fact, that prison, although I won't say it was nice by any means, because what prison is, there's even talk right now about turning those into condos at some point. So it can't be that bad inside. But yeah, so let's go ahead and check out the leaderboard. And Is the Deck Ready stays in first. She What It Is moves back up into second. The New Hamilton's in third. Deck Is Still Not Done is in fourth, and Cats moves up to fifth, knocking off a couple others. So great job, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are definitely doing well, and let's keep it moving along here. So it's time. Let's go to that next question. All right, this state is the largest producer of maple syrup in the United States. Is it A, Vermont, B, New York, C, New Hampshire, or D, Maine? So get those answers in as quick as you can. For those of you that don't know, maple syrup is pretty delicious. I really hope you all know, but I'm not talking about, the store-bought corn syrup. I'm talking about genuine maple syrup from New England. So, all right, 15 with the correct answer. So yes, it is Vermont. So one of our very own New England states is the largest maple syrup producer in the country. Quite a bit of tasty treats up there in Vermont. If you all are return viewers, you know that I talked about Vermont having more breweries per capita than any other state as well. So I can't see a better way to spend your weekend. Go out and have a couple beer tastings and some maple syrup, with pancakes. So all right, let's go ahead and check out that leaderboard. All right, Is the Deck Ready stays in first. She What It Is in second. The New Hamilton's in third. Cats moves up to fourth, and Deck Still Not Done is in fifth. So great job, ladies and gentlemen, and it is time to move on to the next question. All right, it's another ×2, so buckle up. Which state has the oldest state capitol building still in use in the United States? Is it A, Massachusetts, B, Rhode Island, C, New Hampshire, or D, Connecticut? I know that we have a lot of history here in New England, so this one could definitely trip you up, but take some time and think about it. We got 10 answers in so far with about 15 seconds remaining. For those of you that are from this area, I could see how this could definitely get a little tricky. For those of you that aren't from this area, if you don't know it, just take a guess. but we got 3 seconds remaining, so we're gonna go with 3, 2, 1, and boom, your time is up. And 5 with the correct answer. So yes, it is in fact New Hampshire, and the city of Concord houses the oldest state capitol building still in use. So it spans back quite a ways. Obviously you would think, Massachusetts might be a good answer. I see 5 of you guys selected that, and a couple of you took a stab with Rhode Island and Connecticut, but it is in fact New Hampshire. So live free or die. I am a proud New Hampshireite and New Hampshire resident. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to that leaderboard. And Cats jumps up to first. What is going on here? That was pretty wild. I didn't expect to see them rise from 5th to 1st. But is the deck ready? Moves down to 2nd. She What It Is in 3rd. General Organa is in 4th, coming up from not being on the leaderboard previously. And the New Hamilton's down in 5th. But Marma Freckles _A is the highest climber. So great job, guys. That's awesome. Marma Freckles, I don't know who you are, but I think I like you. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out the next question. All right, so 5 questions remaining, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving into our Army trivia category, and there will be 3 questions again worth double points in this category. So buckle up and let's get it started. This Mars Company candy was made popular by World War II era soldiers after returning home. Was it A, M&M's, B, Milky Ways, C, Skittles, or D, Snickers? So get those answers in. And we got 15 seconds remaining with 10 answers in so far. So I know it could get a little tricky, but think about it. A lot of different things, when being consumed in hot environments might melt, but there were certain ways to combat that. Okay, so we got 7 with the correct answer, and yes, it is in fact M&M's. So the Mars Company sold M&M's exclusively to the U.S. Army during World War II. So it was designed in collaboration with the Mars Company. So basically Natick Labs, which is located in Natick, Massachusetts, and the Mars Company joined in collaboration to figure out ways to get chocolate over to soldiers serving overseas. And they figured, taking chocolate and putting in a hard candy shell, would get it there without really having it melt too much. So Milky Ways probably wouldn't have lasted, and Snickers wouldn't have lasted, but M&M's, that was the key. And Skittles are in current day MREs as well, but we still always stay true to our M&M's. So the soldiers returning home after World War II, they loved their M&M's so much while they were overseas that the Mars Company decided to start selling M&M's after the war, and it just became popular. They just caught on with the rest of the country, but much of that came from the Army. So as always, I like to highlight some of those things that the Army brings you to, within everyday life that you don't even think about, you don't realize, everything from super glue to the microwave oven or whatever it might be, the Army has had a hand in it. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. All right, so this leaderboard though is getting switched up again. So She What It Is jumps up to 1st place. General Organa jumps up to 2nd. Cats is in 3rd. The New Hamilton moves up to 4th, and Is the Deck Ready is in 5th. But Clicky Snap is making a comeback with 3 in a row. So let's see how you can fare, Clicky Snap. If you can get these last 4 questions right, you might end up on that podium. So great job. And yeah, go into the next question. It's the ×2, so get those answers in quick. This officer, nicknamed Old Rough and Ready by his soldiers, later went on to become President of the United States. He was the 12th president, just to give you guys a hint, but was it A, Theodore Roosevelt, B, William Henry Harrison, C, Zachary Taylor, or D, James Garfield? So if you don't recognize him off this picture, I get it. He's not necessarily the most recognizable of presidents, but he actually did quite a bit for our country. So we got 17 answers in right now with about 5 seconds remaining. So I'm going to give you that countdown with 3, 2, and 1. Boom, your time is up, ladies and gentlemen, and we got 11 with the correct answer. So yes, congrats to all of you that got that right. It is in fact Zachary Taylor. So Zachary Taylor was nicknamed Old Rough and Ready. He'd fought in the U.S. Army, made it to the rank of Major General. And, throughout several different wars that he served in, he was known to get down and dirty with his troops. So he would get out there and he had no fear of getting his hands dirty. It was not like many officers of that time where, they were in their tent or removed from their troops. He liked to be in there in the thick of it. And so he gained quite a bit of respect from his soldiers. And that actually carried him on to his election, through the election to become president. So Zachary Taylor, not the most well-known of presidents, but definitely worth looking him up if you get a chance, because Old Rough and Ready did a lot for our country. So, especially in terms of westward expansion and whatnot. So let's go ahead and get to that leaderboard and see what's going on here. So She What It Is locks it in first still, but only 400 points behind is Cats. And they're on the move, so they're moving up right now. New Hamilton's back up into third. Is the Deck Ready's in fourth, and Hoya Kane's on fire right now in fifth. So Hoya Kane, I know, is definitely landed on that podium several times. She What It Is, I think that you've finished out, and I'm not sure about everybody else, but is the Deck Ready? I know that actually, if I know who that is that's playing, he has done fairly well before in the past. So ladies and gentlemen, watch out. It is about to get real interesting because we only have 2 questions remaining. So let's go ahead and get that started. So originally constructed as a U.S. Army base, it later became known as The Rock. Was it A, Fort Humboldt, B, Fort Knox, C, Fort McClellan, or D, Fort Alcatraz? So get those answers in. We got about 20 seconds remaining. I see that people are flying there. This picture might help you, but you either know it or you don't. I thought it was an interesting little fact. So 5 seconds remain. I'm going to give you that countdown with 3, 2, and 1. All right, boom, ladies and gentlemen, 13 with the correct answer. So yes, it is in fact Fort Alcatraz. So The Rock. If you know it, you know it. But yeah, so it was started as an army base, and then eventually became the prison, of legend that we know it as now today. In San Francisco Bay, no known escapes or escapes of survived inmates while they were there. But initially, it was an army base, and they were protecting the San Francisco Bay Area. So yeah, pretty awesome little factoid there. But let's go ahead and get to that leaderboard because it is getting really interesting, and I'm enjoying to watching this unfold. So She What It Is stays in first. The New Hamilton's on fire, moving up to second. Is the Deck Ready is in third. Hoya Kane's in fourth, and Cats is in fifth. So the New Hamilton is back with with an answer streak of 3. So answer streak of 3 is pretty impressive. So great job, ladies and gentlemen. You guys are definitely crushing it. And let's go ahead and move on to the last question, I believe it is. So, all right, it's a ×2. Once a U.S. Army military policeman, he later went on to become an actor on the A-Team. Was it A, Dirk Benedict, B, Mr. T, C, Quentin Jackson, or D, Dwight Schultz? So, for those of you that don't know, the A-Team was a popular show back in the day. Dun, 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 dun. All right, yeah, so that was the theme music there. But yes, we got 19 answers in with about 5 seconds remaining. I think that almost all the answers are in, but yeah, let's see how we do here. Let that clock run out. And we got 11 with the correct answer. So yes, Mr. T, although, he had many things that he was known for, he actually started as a military police officer in the U.S. Army. And, when he was actually going through his training, he was the soldier of the cycle. He excelled and he did great while serving. And then went on to Hollywood, became an actor on the A-Team, which, for those of you that don't know, we still use that terminology. The A-Team is not made up of a bunch of, exiles. like the show, an A team is actually an operational detachment alpha, which is better known as a special forces team. And so we still use that terminology quite a bit in the modern military. But our guys are the best of the best. So Mr. T, after the A team, he went on to be in Rocky, and he was a wrestler as well. So just if you don't know who he is, I pity the fool. So I don't know how to say it any other way. Let's go ahead and get to that leaderboard. All right, so She What It Is in first. The New Hamilton's in second. Deck Is Still Not Done moves up to third. General Organa moves up to fourth. And Is the Deck Ready is in fifth. So 4 players have had an answer streak of 4. You guys are definitely doing great out there. So I think it is time for one more question, and that will conclude episode 12 of Trivia Tuesday. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, it is a ×2, so this is for all the marbles, ladies and gentlemen. Soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division provided security to this group during the Civil Rights Movement in 1957. Was it A, the Little Rock Nine, B, Freedom Riders, C, the Black Panthers, or D, the NAACP? All right, we got 10 answers in with about 15 seconds remaining. This picture might give you a little bit of a hint, but you either know it or you don't. The Civil Rights Movement took place for quite a while, and with all the current events still going on, I thought it was appropriate to talk a bit about what the Army has done throughout history to help with that. So the time is up, ladies and gentlemen. You got 5 with the correct answer. So yes, it is in fact the Little Rock Nine. So that was the famous group of black young men and women that were integrating into schools. So the Army being the first institution to desegregate basically in the country, we have moved forward with equality, as I like to say, or as many of us like to say, we all are green. It doesn't matter what your racial background is, what your religious background is, what your sexual preference is. It doesn't matter, because when we're in uniform, we are all green, we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all working towards the greater good of defending our country and keeping Americans safe. And so the 101st Airborne Division was called in to actually provide security for these students as they went into their schools. And I just thought that was pretty amazing. I know that right now with the current situation, a lot of people are not really certain of what the military is doing, but I can promise you that we are doing everything we can to try to make sure that we keep our Americans safe, because that is what we're here to do. And we take pride in that. We live the Army values, and if you don't live those Army values, and if you don't align with keeping Americans safe, then the Army is not a place for you. But we absolutely believe in what we're doing, and we're here to help. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But it is time to go ahead and check out that podium, ladies and gentlemen, because that was the last question for episode 12 of Trivia Tuesday. So here it is, and we're gonna see it. All right, the New Hamilton finishes in third, so great job. She What It Is in second, so great job to her. And first place, ladies and gentlemen, who's it going to be? The Deck Is Still Not Done. Oh my goodness, the Deck is still not done. So great job, everyone. That is quite impressive. So yeah, She What It Is must have dropped down and gotten that last one wrong, jumping down to second place. But yeah, great job, ladies and gentlemen. That was awesome. I hope that you all learned something. I hope that you had fun. I realize that it's summer and it's a great time to get outside and enjoy that beautiful weather. But come back and join us again next week. Grab a beverage and sit down on your deck, and you can just, if your deck is done anyways, you can do that. And then, come and play some trivia with us. We're going to keep on doing this for another few weeks, so invite all your friends. The more the merrier. We're definitely trying to get the word out there still, despite being 12 weeks in. We'd love to have as many players as possible. So congratulations again to Deck Still Not Done, She What It Is, and the New Hamilton. You guys did great, and wow, I can't even believe it. So thank you so much. In the meanwhile, everyone, spread the word about Trivia Tuesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next week. And take care.